Hi, this is Tavi Greiner, Astronomy.fm's Vice President of Communications. If you enjoy our programming, please let us know with a donation to astronomy.fm/donate. We really do rely on your support, and it's true, every little bit counts.
AFM.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
The curtain of night is drawn back. The telescopes are trained. The domes are open. The audience is set. Now, step into the Event Horizon.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Event Horizon program here on Astronomy.fm radio. It is another Friday evening. This one is December the 21st. We'll talk about the significance of that pretty soon. 2018, about 9 o'clock in the evening for those of us here in the eastern portion of North America. The Universal Time puts it at 2 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning, December 22nd, 2018.
Come on, Marty, just say we're live on the Event Horizon tonight, everyone.
Well, we do get repeat programs, and this one sometimes gets played at other times, so it's always good to put a date on it, so people know when they're listening in at other times of the year. Sometimes. Chat room.
Yeah, chat room is filling up nicely. Ourselves, Sky Guide Nick, me, Sky Guide Marty, that's you. Optronics, Quartz in the Wood, Twisted Edge, Glenn, StarStorm. As I say, it's nice to have people in the chat room. It's nice to be live.
And how can people get to our chat room?
They need to go to astronomy.fm/chat. And I did post a link on the AFM Facebook page.
And glad to have everybody in. And we invite everybody to join us in our chat room. Just type in a name, erase anything that might say password or something like that, and then just hit log in, and you'll be here. It's easy. It's fun. Be part of the team.
Okay, I want to do a quick PSA because I got sent a very fun link from Black Projects.
Take your time. Do a slow PSA.
And I can't do a slow PSA. PSAs are all to be very short and very sweet. So, on the 20th and 21st of January, the full moon will actually be switched off for several hours. And everybody's wondering, has Nick lost the plot? No, he hasn't. Why? It's a total lunar eclipse.
That's right.
And, of course, the really, really nice thing, you can see it all the way from Alaska to the UK, which is quite a feat. So let me put the link into the chat room. Yes, I have a link. And the show will be on YouTube, and I will post the YouTube link on the AFM Facebook page so everybody can get it afterwards.
All right. So the moon's going to disappear. Today, the sun is going to stop. Well, all kinds of mysterious happenings in the skies.
To quote the Jethro Tull, ring out those solstice bells, baby.
What song was that from? I don't remember that one.
Jethro Tull. Bring out
which song?
It's called Solstice Bells.
Ah, okay.
It's one of his very colourful songs. I'm going to try. I'll grab a link for it. It's one of my favourites, actually.
Yeah.
So this one second. Let's go into here. Solstice Bells, Jethro Tull, YouTube. That's what I need.
All right.
Yes, it can go in the show notes.
Let's do the solstice right now. It is the December solstice because we're an international organization, listeners around the world and over the river and through the woods. So what solstice means, basically it's the angle of the orbit, angle of the axis of rotation of the Earth is one pole will be pointed towards the sun and one pole will be pointed away from the sun. Now, not by a lot, only about 23 degrees or so, but just a little, but just mostly angled in that direction. So this December 1 in the northern hemisphere, the northern pole is pointing actually away from the sun, and the southern pole is pointing towards the sun. So right now the Arctic is getting 24 hours of nighttime, and Antarctica is getting 24 hours of daytime. And that's good to the what do they call those?
So basically, the
The
seasons of
lines.
the year
Yeah.
are determined by reference to both the solstices and the equinoxes.
Mhm.
So a solstice basically is an event where the sun appears to reach its most northerly or southerly excursion relative to the celestial equator on the celestial sphere. We have two solstices a year. First one, there's one around June 21st, summer solstice, where most of us like to go to Stonehenge or other stone circles and have a bit of fun. And then, of course, there's December 21st, the winter solstice, my favorite holiday of the year. It's a nice, fun time for
From
most
the
people.
northern hemisphere perspective, you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
And of course, as I say, it's, I don't know, solstice to me is more of more reliable calendar. I think my calendar tends to run by the old calendar, which is mostly a lunar calendar, really,
Mhm.
but it's determined really by the solstices and equinoxes.
I prefer the solstice as the holiday of this time of year.
Oh, me too, Marty, me too.
Mhm.
And of course, a few days later, if you're of Roman inclination, you've got the Saturnalia. Hey, you know what they say? They say keep Christ in Christmas. Let's keep Saturn in Saturnalia.
There you go. It's also Yule. A lot of holidays actually started because of the solstice.
Yep.
It was definitely a remarkable time of the year, being mostly the northern hemisphere where the population was the heaviest, longest to go, and that was the longest night of the entire year. Quite definitely a notable period for lots of people. So they turned one of the gloomiest nights into a party. So whether you're burning your Yule log, which I recommend doing that recommend doing that outdoors, not indoors.
Oh, no, Marty, you've got to burn it indoors if you've got an open fireplace.
Well, I don't have a fireplace, so it's kind of a not a good thing to do.
And of course, Quiet in the Wood is quite correctly pointing out it's also 4 days from celebrating a very important birthday, Sir Isaac Newton.
There you go. Excellent.
Oh yes, most definitely excellent.
Mhm.
And of course, there's actually, interestingly, thank you, StarStorm, for the constellations in December. Let me just quickly peruse this because I'm getting hinted that I have to open it and discuss it.
All right, go ahead for it.
This is true. So the main constellations of December are Aries the Ram, Cetus the Sea Monster, Eridanus the River, which also happens to hold the home star and home planet for Mr. Spock. And of course, there's Fornax, the laboratory furnace, the Hologram, the pendulum clock, Hydrus, the southern water snake, Perseus, the hero, and Triangulum, the triangle. And of course, if you've got clear skies, 46p Vitron.
Indeed. Not too much more time left on that one, though. It's heading north fast. It's going to be passing by Capella in Auriga, pretty reasonably close to it, and then it's going to start heading towards the Big Dipper, Ursa Major, which is pretty low, pretty much right on the northern horizon right now for northern hemisphere observers. So then it's going to dip below the northern horizon and not be very favorable for viewing after that. So this is the time to go look for that comet.
Right now, actually, I did manage to image it.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Which instrument did you use?
I used several, actually.
Okay.
So let me pull up the most recent picture. This is one I actually took just before my trip to the UK, where I do actually have an open fireplace. Okay, so hi BP, welcome to the chat room.
Is it a coal fireplace?
No, it's a multi-fuel burner. Basically, you can put wood in there, you can put coal in there, take your pick. So there you go, 46p Vitron. That was taken on 2018, 11/18. From T3 at Siding Springs Observatory, Australia, which is a Takahashi S Sky 90 with a single shot wide field color camera. Hi Cassie, glad you could make it.
Mm-hmm.
As I say, this is the comet that is continuing to give. I have actually seen some brilliant. Comet Watch. If you caught it Wednesday, I think it was after Astronomy Island.
Yes.
We had Elizabeth Warner join us from the University of Maryland. And of course, we did actually discuss it in great detail. Now, let me get into my links because here we go. So let me just open up that link. Okay, that's not the one I want.
Siding Springs, is that part of the iTelescope system?
Part of the iTelescope system, yes.
Okay, but this is one of the smaller refractors, was it, you said?
This was a Sky 90 Takahashi.
Okay, 90 millimeter. Gotcha.
Okay, so this is actually one of the comet pictures I saw that was done by Gerald Raymond. That's Rehemann. And the really nice thing that I like about this picture, and we did actually comment about it, it shows 46p with a weak tail and an anti-tail.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now, the collaborative astronomy observers are collecting. This is actually an ongoing project at the University of Maryland. So I'll put that link in there. And this is a shout out to Elizabeth Heyer, because this is something she's involved with.
When Nick's talking about putting the links in, he means into our AFM chat room. Later, they should be on to our Astronomy.fm Facebook page, Joe, correct?
There'll be, what you need to do to get the links after the show, once I get the file back from our great producer, Rob, is pull up the YouTube video that I make of all the shows now.
Okay.
Links will be there. So, yeah, okay. I do post it on AFM Facebook page.
So on YouTube, you'll get the audio, and then you'll actually post the pictures.
There are pictures
as a video. Like,
well, what I did, know what I mean? What I did is I have an AFM graphic.
Okay.
And I have an Event Horizon graphic.
Okay.
And that convinces the software that it's actually a video.
Okay.
So you get to see the Event Horizon graphic. You can hear the show. Same type of deal with Comet Watch.
Great.
Because at the moment, as our website's down, we can't do it in the traditional manner, which is to do the show notes and have a link to the MP3.
Yep.
So I spent a few hours banging my head against the desk about 4 or 5 months back, figured out how to do this. And I'm slowly making sure all the shows get uploaded. Now, I have asked Michael Forrester for Space Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
So
Radio
I
director.
Do exactly the same thing with Space Pirates as I do with Event Horizon and Comet Watch.
Great.
And of course, the great thing is the bandwidth that we save is brilliant because it's all YouTube's bandwidth that we use.
Yeah.
But I've got a premium account, so I can put as much stuff up as I care to. So as I say, it's there. You can get the show. There'll be links on Facebook. You can message me or email me at nick@astronomy.fm if the email still works. I'm pretty sure it does.
I think so.
And I'll be quite happy to reply using my personal email and send you a copy of the link from YouTube.
Did you get to see it visually?
No, because I don't bother doing it visually because my vision with glasses, I wear trifocals.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to find the sweet spot on a pair of binoculars is like frustrating.
So your vision is not such that you could refocus your optics and still be able to see through them, like some people can.
Some people can. If you've got single focal, if you've got regular glasses, it's not a problem.
I mean, without glasses, can you refocus?
I've tried it, and my binoculars are so heavy.
Okay.
I'm not going to bother.
But they will focus though. You can refocus for your uncorrected vision.
I can set the binoculars for it.
Okay.
But it's just a pain having to sweep for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest. I've gone to the dark side. We have hot chocolate and CCDs, and cookies, yes, and brownies. And I like imaging. I like the fact that I can sit on a scope halfway around the world, get a cracking good picture, play with it in Nebulosity or PixInsight or whatever your favorite brand of imaging software is, and work on it. Now, as I say, the great thing is sketches, scanned emulsion, as it's put to me. Yes, there are still people you can actually buy 35mm film again.
Yes, you can.
Developing it is going to be a bit of a nuisance, and you really have to tell them that it's astronomical images, otherwise they'll just chop your pictures up.
Do they still sell slide film?
Yes. I
Okay,
do.
so the best thing with slide film, I hope they still sell the old mounts, but is to tell them don't mount them.
Yeah.
Mount your own pictures yourself, so you get the whole roll uncut, and then none of your pictures are chopped in half. Or make sure you take a normal light picture first, and then try to take a normal light picture last. So when they put the roll in, they will start cutting on that line, and then cut the ones that don't show up, and they should be correct that way. That really helps with slide film.
And the really great thing is, Marty, we as amateur astronomers, we've never had it so good, really, because we have professional quality CCDs, even the CMOS sensors in our DSLRs. A lot of the actual beauty shots against the Pleiades, etc., are taken with DSLRs and telephoto lenses. Because you got to remember that the field of view through a telescope is much different to what you would get with a regular camera and a camera lens. So with a regular camera, with a DSLR, you have the ability to get the comet against something like the Pleiades or whatever. It's much easier to do. Otherwise, you've got to do a mosaic. And now you're talking about an awful lot of hours to get that, and then you've got to stitch it all together.
Our astronomy club just got donated a DSLR. It's really old, 10 years old, maybe more. It's a D70 Nikon. So I've been learning how to use it. Some really strange button positions. You gotta hold one button while you're looking through it and rotate a wheel. It's like, well, who would invent something like that? That's stupid. Well, anyways, I'm starting to figure it out. I got a couple pictures of the moon, but it takes the old compact flash cards. They're the ones that were about 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So I don't have a slot in this computer to do those anymore. So I ordered a compact flash reader. I didn't read the description well enough. It said USB, but I didn't see that little C after it. It was like USB-C CF reader. And I didn't make that designation that USB-C is the new one, the one that's really small. It's made to plug into like a phone or a tablet, really thin.
Yeah, I've got USB-Cs on my new phone.
I don't have it on my laptop.
Yeah.
So now I got to figure out how to. I haven't gotten it yet. How to convert it? I don't know if you can convert it from the C adapt it to the older A and B. I don't. Or,
now most cables you can buy through your favorite online shopping store will have adapters like that.
But some of the adapters are male ends on both sides and not females the way on one end that I need. And it will usually go in reverse, where I could plug an old style USB accessory into an adapter into the C, into the the phone or something like that. But I want to go the other way. I want to plug maybe something into a USB port, has a little slot in it, and plug the USB-C in after that. And I don't think I found that adapter yet.
So that's USB-C to USB-A, yeah?
Yes, but it's got to be the correct direction, not the other way.
Okay.
Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. Okay, let me have a look at something here.
All right, yeah, I haven't been able to find that. So it should look like a regular USB thing with a tiny little hole in the back end of it. It's usually got the USB-C male end, and then a female USB-A in it. Those I found no problem. I can't find it in the opposite. Maybe they'll get coming out with them. I don't know.
So
maybe it's not possible.
What you're looking for is a USB-C female to USB-A male, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, now we're talking USB-C female.
Yes. So the A was like the big USB slot, and the C is a tiny little USB slot. So I might just end up selling the reader and go buy another one. I was going to buy one at a popular electronics general store, and they always make me mad about something when I go in there. They're out of their products, hardly any stock left, or this time there was like 2 people in line, and after 20 minutes I threw the thing on the counter and walked out. So I thought, okay, I'll get that one. Marty. You found one, okay. Send me the link, PM me later or something like that.
There you go.
Send me that. All right, here it is. Let's see if it's the right way. And I know there's some issues. Oh, that's perfect.
See?
Excellent. Yep. All right. Oh, it's Amazon. I don't do Amazon because I don't have an account at Amazon. Now, is it someplace else? And I can actually just send, a charge card. Sorry, everybody, about this. Yeah, this is like an astronomy thing too, because this is what people have to do to get your astronomy equipment actually working. So, hope we're not losing too many of you in this conversation. So, this is how you get old equipment to work with old equipment.
I saw a reference to Best Buy.
Okay.
Here we go.
I don't like them, but I could try them. We'll see.
Yeah, Best Buy. So what you can do is you can request it online. Yep, they've got one here at Best Buy.
Okay.
So, here we go.
All right, I will try that.
Maybe there you go. Get that link out there, Marty.
All right, thanks, Nick. Maybe I'll do that online so they don't get me so angry all the time when I go there. All right. So maybe I'll.
As Quiet in the Woods says.
I did take an official astronomy picture with the camera of the moon, but I got to get it out of the camera now to show everybody.
Well, what you can do.
Getting started. Go ahead.
There's a program called Backyard EOS. See if your camera's supported by it.
Okay. I don't think it does. It's too old of a camera. In fact, I don't think it even takes a camera cable. It's got a bulb setting, but you have to hold the button down manually, and that's not going to do good because it's going to, shake too much. My latest adventures with DSLR, digital imaging, will continue.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on the next thing. What's up next?
Oh, let's go to New Horizons, shall we?
Oh, let's go to New Horizons. No, let's go beyond New Horizons. Let's go to Ultima Thule.
Well, that's where we're going with New Horizons.
Oh, that is where we're going. Yes.
Yeah. Because this is a Gizmodo story. So we're now days before the Ultima Thule flyby. And New Horizons detected something totally weird about its most distant target to date. So, okay, we're going to whiz past this mysterious Kuiper Belt object on New Year's Day. But
we should explain what a Kuiper Belt object is, too.
Okay, so this is possibly a piece of ice. It's a rock ball that is in the outer solar system. This is so far out of the solar system, it is potentially halfway to the next star. They're now beginning to think that the Kuiper Belt, named after Gerald Kuiper, actually extends so far beyond the solar system. It's almost halfway to the Centauri system. So anyway, someone got an alarm going off somewhere. What's happened? There's an anomaly in the way Ultima Thule is reflecting incoming light.
Mm.
Now, New Horizons is going to pass Ultima Thule at 12:33 a.m. ET on January the 1st. It's traveling at 31,500 miles an hour, and it will pass at a distance of 2,200 miles. Closer
than it did by Pluto.
Absolutely. So we'll see this thing in exquisite detail. But now they've got an unexpected mystery.
Okay.
By analyzing the images already taken by New Horizons so far, they've been trying to measure its brightness. But they failed to detect any periodic changes in the luminosity as it rotates. Now, we already know it's not spherically shaped. Back in 2017, observations made from telescopes in Argentina suggested that it was an ovular or cigar-shaped, possibly a binary pair. Gee, isn't this sounding like CG again?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it could even be touching. It could be a contact binary. That's cool. We've seen objects like this here and here and here. What is really weird is that it's not exhibiting repeated variations in brightness. It's the kind of thing you would normally expect a rotating object to do.
It's either, if it was round and it has variable brightness, that means it's got some brighter spots and darker spots on it.
Now, that is indeed what we saw with CG.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we discovered it's a huge rubber duck in space.
Mm-hmm. Pluto's the same way, too. It's got the light spots and dark spots on it.
Yeah, but it has changes in albedo
mm-hmm.
to be measured. But these periodic changes, or light curves, as some of us astronomers would say, is all but negligible in Ultima Thule. It's not happening. And Alan Stern, who's the principal investigator with New Horizons, says it's really a puzzle. It's the first puzzle, and they don't understand why it has such a tiny light curve that they can't even detect it. Now, hopefully, the detailed flyby images coming soon will give us many more mysteries. But they really did not expect this one to come so quick. And it's really very early in the mission. So why is it that this distant Kuiper Belt object is devoid of a light curve? Well, Mark Brucey, one of the mission scientists from Southwest Research Institute, it's possible that Ultima Thule's rotation pole is pointing directly towards New Horizons as it approaches. So from the perspective of the spacecraft, Ultima Thule is spinning. But it can only see the same reflective side, hence no light curve. It would be like watching a merry-go-round directly from above.
Or kind of looking at a polar region of Uranus. Yeah,
or even looking down at an ice cap on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other explanation from Mark Schoatler from SETI is that it may be surrounded by a cloud of dust that's obscuring its light curve. Very much interestingly enough, like a comet's coma does, often overwhelms the light reflected by its central core. There's another explanation that a heat source would be required to produce a coma of this magnitude. The sun is 4 billion miles away from Ultima, and they think it could be that the rays are too weak to produce such an effect.
Isn't it farther than that?
This is from Schoatler. He reckons that there has to be a heat source.
Pluto's about 4 billion light years. No, not light years. 4 billion miles.
Well, as I say, this is the actual figures they're quoting in the article.
Okay.
Now, it could also
right.
be. Now, the other scenario that it's a multiple moonlet, that it has many tumbling moons, each producing its own light curve, but collectively those light curves would appear as a jumbled superposition of light curves. So, what from the perspective of the probe is a small single light curve, is new. Now, the trouble is with this theory is that we've never actually seen anything like this in the solar system. So if it is true, it would represent a new kind of astronomical phenomenon. So it's a neat mystery and it's a conundrum, but hopefully as we get closer, the New Horizons will be able to solve it. And of course, there is a pun in the story, or rather a silly little thing at the end of the story. The writer said he hopes that it's an extraterrestrial communications array pointed at the Earth, but sadly it's probably a dark, dead rock with a very peculiar spin.
I've got an idea why if it's too low, there might be something that we can't see, kind of lined up behind it. Two words: Death Star.
Oh, excuse me.
Hiding from New Horizons, sticking around behind it. It was in orbit before, but now it's hiding behind it.
But given the size, they think
mini Death Star. Okay,
it'd have to be even smaller than that.
A micro Death Star.
Yeah,
it's a giant beach ball. Okay. Was it like what's it like 500 miles across, something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, which has a potential of being round. If it's one solid-ish object, and then it 500 miles across, it should be pretty much round.
So basically, okay, here we go. The Kuiper Belt and the Oort cloud. The Kuiper Belt is a disc-shaped region past the orbit of Neptune, extending roughly between 30 to 50 AU from the Sun, with uncountable icy bodies. It's considered to be the main source, possibly, of short-period comets. So occasionally, a Kuiper Belt object will be disturbed by the interaction of the giant planets to cause an object to cross the orbit of Neptune. Very likely have a close encounter with Neptune, sending it either out of the solar system or into an orbit crossing those of the other giants, or maybe into the inner solar system. There are 9 known objects all between Jupiter and Neptune, including 2060 Chiron, aka 95P Chiron, 5145 Polus. The list is endless. Now, the largest of these is Chiron, which is about 170 kilometers. It's 20 times larger than Halley's Comet. So if that was ever perturbed into an orbit that approached the Sun, that would be an extremely spectacular comet. Now, curiously, it seems that the Oort cloud objects will form closer to the Sun than the Kuiper Belt objects. Small objects formed near the ice. The giant planets will be ejected from the solar system by gravitational encounters. Those that didn't escape entirely formed the distant Oort cloud. Small objects formed further out but have no interactions and remained as Kuiper Belt objects. So anyway, here's a nice little link from 9planets.org.
Okay.
But okay, that's in the chat room now.
You put that in, and I will do our station identification.
Go for it.
You're listening to the Event Horizon here on Astronomy.fm radio. That means it is another Friday evening, and this one happens to be December the 21st. Happy solstice, everybody. 2018, about 9:30 in the evening for those of us here in the eastern portion of North America. That means we are halfway through our live presentation. Universal time would put it at about 2:30 Saturday morning, again, December 22nd, 2018. So we're live, so come on over and join us in our AFM chat room. Go to the homepage, and you'll find out where it says to join in and do that. More than welcome to have you join in tonight. Don't forget, we got more programming coming up after the Event Horizons, and we repeat those programs and Event Horizon every 4 hours for the next 24 hours. Well, welcome everybody in our chat room so far. Optronics, you and me, In the Quiet Wood, Twist Edge, Glenn, Black Project, Cassie, and StarStorm. Go for it.
Now, Quiet in the Wood has actually asked a quite relevant question. Umama was said to have been the first interstellar object that we witnessed.
Okay.
But we have seen hyperbolic orbit comets before, and aren't those interstellar?
Possibly. I think there's like up to 4 potential interstellar objects, from what I recall.
So, quite possibly.
I think Umumu was just the one that was confirmed to be interstellar.
Yes, it was confirmed to be the first interstellar object that we could actually trace back. And actually plot a good orbit for. Now, another thing that's come to my attention, well, there's a lot of attention given to C2018Y1, it's a comet, and quite rightly. It turns out that there's another comet that was announced as on the 20th that may prove interesting. Now, this is an email that I've got from Alan Hale. He says 2018 YW is a distinctly cometary orbit. And it's got a periodicity of 7.5 years. It's going to make perihelion at about 0.89 AU at the end of February. So whilst inbound to perihelion, it's going to pass possibly about 0.33 AU from the Earth on January the 19th. It might be worth keeping an eye out on this in case it becomes apt. Now, I'm going to put the actual comment he made into the chat room, and if that could be saved for the show notes, I'll be very grateful, please. So that's also in there now.
This one is the recently discovered, if I pronounce this right, Iwamoto, right?
The
Y1, because he also
Y1 is that, yes.
Yeah, he also was partial discoverer of V1, which was McColt's Fujikawa Iwamoto.
So this is actually the interesting thing is this is another amateur astronomer who has discovered a comet. Most times today, everything's got either Pan-STARRS or NEO-WATCH or NEO-WISE. Okay, that's just it's a designation for comet. Normally, if it has an A, it tends to indicate an asteroid. However, having said that, there is. Thank you very much, there, Marty, for that link. That's a good link to that.
It's a star chart with the comet track on it. So
yeah,
find it that way.
So basically, it's just a way of designating that this is known to be a comet. But the thing is, though, a lot of asteroids get perturbed and come into the inner solar system and suddenly start exhibiting cometary behavior, and they grow a coma and they actually have tails.
Here's a question. If an object's found and originally classified as an asteroid, but studied further, could it be downgraded to a comet?
Well, in most cases, it would be upgraded to a comet. Because they're thinking that some of these objects, these dark rocky objects, were originally comets that have mostly built off their volatiles. And every now and again, there may be, gravity may perhaps move the surface enough that it releases a little more volatile matter. So they start to develop a coma and a tail. Now, I'm going to say this because I always say this about comets. Comets are like cats. They have tails, and they want with them. Which is very, very true. And one thing I will never do, I'm never going to tell you that this is going to be the comet of the century. It's going to be a naked eye comet.
Because for all you know, you may get clouded out.
No, well, it's not just that. It's just the fact that comets have... if everybody remembers Ison, Ison's going to be brilliant. It's going to be a daylight comet. And then it fizzled. It went behind the sun, and it was too close, and it shattered.
Yep.
And then we lost it.
Which I think the Colt Fujikawa Iwamoto was also, that one also expected to disappear.
Well, put it this way: we would not be too surprised if it does. We would be pleasantly surprised if it was to make perihelion and come out and then put on a show for us. So there is a lot going on, and is never being a comet observer or imager, which is I'm really the imager type. It means that there's always some target to hunt for, and of course the fun starts. Everybody starts piling into the comet groups, putting their pictures up, and of course. With this project that Elizabeth Warner is doing with the University of Maryland, again, this is something else that you can contribute to. If you have images, you have light curves, you have sketches, submit them. The more information, obviously, if you're submitting images, they want to know the timings of the imaging run. They want to know the telescope, the camera, what the pixel sizes are, what the field of view is. Every piece of information you can give them. It's not too bad when it comes to using remote telescopes like our telescopes, because that if you know what the telescope is, which most of us know which one we're using for that night, as long as you've got the timings and the telescope, if they need to, they can go back. And the most important thing is this is relevant to professional astronomers. They can go back. They can say to our telescope, T13. On this date, what was the telescope setup? And that way, when they're using that image as part of their project, they can get more information out of the image. So if you're submitting to these projects, if you're submitting to the BAA Comet Section Gallery and Archives, date, object, start of run, finish of run, the name of the telescope, or the more importantly, the observatory number if you're using a remote telescope, because that automatically tells the person using the data a whole load of stuff. He can go to the MPC and he can then pull up everything he needs to know about that observatory. And a lot of amateur astronomers have observatory numbers, because to do that you need to submit images and photometry, and after a period they can look at the work and say, yeah, okay, this guy has made, this guy or girl is now providing the level of information, and then your observatory will get an observatory number, which is a really nice thing to have. And it's kind of a way, it's probably one of the nicest things about the hobby. It's a badge. It's a badge to say that my observatory is now able to produce scientific grade information and reliable information that can be used for somebody 10, 15, 20 years down the road. Someone may go back, for instance, to the picture of 46P Vitron I posted and say, okay, so Nikovets took this here. It was siding springs. They can pull the weather information, which is also very important. And this is what I really like about iTelescope. When you get your files from them, you get the actual APC log for your imaging run. So it tells you everything and anything about the telescope, the camera, the binning, the works. And then it gives you a weather chart and a snapshot at that time of what the weather was at the observatory, and an all sky image. So as I say, it's just, this is what we can do. We have the time, we have the instruments, and we have the inclination. And of course, we don't have to have multi-million-dollar budgets to do science. The professionals now come to us.
But it helps.
Oh, if I had $20 million, I would probably get aperture fever like nobody's. I would probably have a 4 or 5 meter scope.
Not for $1 million, but well, maybe 40-inch telescope.
Yeah, who knows? But as I say, well, if you think about it, 0.5 of a meter is 20 inches. 1 meter is 40 inches.
Yep.
There is, I know one ex-NASA scientist who now has a 36-inch Dobsonian.
There is a company near me here in Michigan that actually sells 1 meter Dobsonian telescopes. Takes a while to get, pretty expensive. And I think there's 2 companies near me, actually. There's, I can't remember the name of them now, CDK, who makes those telescopes, semi-professional telescope. Oh, well, I can't remember.
Planewave, CDK.
Planewave, yes. They're in Michigan also, and they make a 40-inch.
And, of course, there's New Moon telescopes in Virginia. I think it's, I don't know which of the Virginias he's in. But he makes custom, bespoke Dobsonians with go-to everything. He actually made a 36-inch Dob actually was installed into its own dome. The dome was custom built for the Dob.
Nice.
Oh yeah. In fact, he's indicated he'd love to come on the show and talk about his work.
All right, we're gonna get him in sometime.
We're gonna have to, yes.
Had an asteroid. Well, actually, an asteroid, kind of, pretty reasonably big, but mostly kind of close. Only 1.8 million miles, flying by the Earth today. It does get semi-close every so many years, and this was one that got kind of close today. Now, it was actually imageable a few days ago because it's actually passing by us at closest point on the sun side of the Earth. So it's shaded. So we're seeing, if we could see it, we'd see the nighttime side of it, and can't see that. The designation is 203 SD220 for that one. Let me put a link into our chat room on the orbit of this one, and it would. Well, they said it was about 13th magnitude when it flew by. So it takes some pretty good equipment to be able to see that. However, NASA has radar images of it,
Yeah.
or on the NASA page. So let me put that in so you can see what it looks like and see if this looks like another object that we've been talking about tonight a little bit recently. So here it comes. And these images are kind of nice. Here's what the radar images of this thing looks like. Didn't we talk about one that interstellar Oumuamua?
Yeah.
Looks a bit like Oumuamua. So very elongated, maybe about the same size. This one's I think is about a mile long and a lot less than that in diameter. So.
And of course, Bennu is being visited by OSIRIS-REx at the moment, and Hayabusa 2, the Hayabusa 2 mission is still ongoing. Yep,
that should be taking a sample of OSIRIS-REx. I think it's OSIRIS-REx. It should be taking a sample pretty soon, isn't it? Or
both of them are sample return missions.
Yes.
In fact, you were talking about Oumuamua. Mm-hmm. I did see a link here. Just 1 second.
Okay.
We go grab that and put it in the chat.
Unfortunately, that's one that actually flew by us, and then it was seen on the way out. So there was no possible way of getting a satellite to it to get a close-up view of that one, unfortunately. Go ahead.
So anyway, that's the link about NASA learns more about interstellar visitor Oumuamua. Okay, so basically what have we learned? In 2017, the Spitzer Space Telescope looked at it. It is officially the first interstellar object to visit our solar system. Sadly, as a lot of people were hoping, it was not like anything like Larry Niven's Ringworld. It is a natural object. Now, they think it's experienced outgassing. It could be composed of frozen gases similar to a comet. There is a nice little GIF that shows the vents on the surface. They think that these vents, these jets of gas, are giving the object a slight boost in speed, which the researchers detected by measuring the position of the object as it passed the Earth in 2017. It was first detected by the University of Hawaii's Pan-STARRS 1 at Hekea. The object's name is Hawaiian word meaning visitor from afar arriving first. It was detected whilst the telescope was surveying for near-Earth asteroids. Multiple ground-based observations and Hubble imaging detected the sunlight reflected off the surface, large variations in brightness, suggesting it's a highly elongated, possibly less than half a mile in its longest dimension. Now, Spitzer tracks asteroids and comets using infrared energy, or heat, which can provide more specific information about an object's size. The fact that Oumuamua was too faint for Spitzer sets the limits on the object's total surface area. However, the non-detection can't be used to infer shape. Size limits are presented as to what the diameter would be if it was spherical. They use three separate models that make different assumptions about the composition. The non-detection by Spitzer limited its spectral diameter to about 1,440 feet, 440 meters, 640 feet, and perhaps as little as 320 feet. The wide range of results stems from the assumptions that which is based on the visible or faint as it would appear to Spitzer if it was a particular size. Spitzer. So yeah, it's small but reflective.
Spitzer. Spritzer's the guy that waters down your drinks at the bar.
Anyway, it's on its way out. It's almost as far as Saturn's orbit now. So it's well beyond reach of any existing telescopes. Usually, if we get a measurement from a comet that's kind of weird like that, they go back and measure it again until they understand what they're seeing. According to the Center for Near-Earth Object Studies at JPL, and a co-author on both papers. However, this one is gone forever. We probably know as much about it as we're ever going to know. No, there are no Kazinti on it. There's no Ringworld engineers. It's a natural object, and I really do get annoyed when these ideas get trotted out because of what's going on. the information that is maintained, spacecraft operations, are maintained at Lockheed Martin Space Systems in Littleton, Colorado, for the Spitzer Space Telescope. And data is archived at the Infrared Science Archive, which is at IPAC at Caltech. And obviously Caltech manages JPL for NASA. Anyway, it's a nice little thought. It's a nice little idea what it could be. It probably would have been really nice if we could have caught it earlier.
Yeah, definitely. Yep, that's the way they go sometimes. They fly by. Yeah, so basically once we've seen it already go past us, that means if it was on a direct collision, we would never have seen it coming.
We got lucky.
Yeah.
They are looking at other things, other objects, which they now believe could be interstellar. One they believe has actually been captured by Jupiter. So again, the thing is, the finding, even though it was sheer luck, of Oumuamua has now made us look in different locations than where we would normally look.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of looking in the normal cometary patterns or along the ecliptic, it's one of those places we start looking in different areas of the sky around the solar system. Mm-hmm. Because we just don't really know how they're going to enter, which angle they're going to come in at. And you know what? If anything, it's taught us not to be complacent. Having said that, Chelyabinsk taught us not to be complacent. Mm-hmm. No one saw that one coming, and the damage to property was quite enormous. Thankfully, not to human life.
Yep.
But again, it's one of those things. We got with, oh yeah, we're tracking them all. We found them all. We know how they're coming at us. We know the most of the orbits. Not this one, baby. Mm-hmm. Again, as I say, it was one of those wake-up calls. It came in at a completely unexpected angle. And now we actually look. They have traced back the Chelyabinsk exploder, and they now know where to look. So they're looking both sides of that type of curve. So it's over the last few years, we've had a few wake-up calls. Mm-hmm. I still think the best and biggest probably was Schumacher-Levy 9, one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I had the astronauts return from the space station just recently, successfully. So there's some minor concern about that habitat that had a hole drilled into it. I think that finally ended up burning up, didn't it?
I thought that was one of the Soyuz modules.
Yeah, the Soyuz modules, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my understanding
that wasn't the Soyuz spacecraft.
Wasn't the Soyuz spacecraft, but it was a habitat attached to it. I was told that both pieces will come back and then they separate, and then the habitat basically burns up, and the habitat's one that had a hole in it. It's my understanding of that. I have to read that for more detail, just to be sure. Also talking about astronauts, 50th anniversary of the launch of Apollo 8 to the moon.
Yes, it is.
I was old enough for that one, so I definitely remember that mission. And then a few days later, they orbited the moon. Looks like it says 10 orbits of the moon, and before they came back to Earth. So a milestone. 50 years ago, people went out the farthest from the Earth, all the way to the moon. Just did an orbit and then came back again. So that was pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it was the first manned spacecraft to leave low Earth orbit. It reached the moon, it orbited, came back safely. The launch date was December 21st, 1968. Mm-hmm. Orbital departure was December 25th, 1968 at 6:10:17 seconds of UTC. Mm-hmm. Orbital insertion was on December 24th at 9:59 and 20 seconds UTC. 10 orbits, and it was revolution number 2. According to the information about. So let me just pull up this link.
About the Christmas quote, was it? Remember when that one was?
That was Buzz. I think Buzz did.
Okay.
Took communion in space.
Okay.
Yeah, Buzz Aldrin took communion in space.
All right.
It was the reading from Genesis.
Yep, that was it. December 25th, we got the moon going in front of a 4th magnitude star in Cancer, visible from Alaska, northern Canada, Greenland, and Europe. So definitely northern zone. We got a meteor shower coming up too that some are reporting. There's a calculation that it might be good. It's December 22nd, the Ursid. So right now it's the 22nd. Now I don't know if that means tonight. Look for it. I would say look for it tonight, being the 22nd, because it's usually happening in the morning, and it's already universal time, the 22nd. So I would start looking tonight, and just to be sure tomorrow night. So in case you've got one of them clear or not. Now one prediction was that this would be maybe a little bit better than its normal ho-hum meteor shower. So keep your eyes out if you got some good clear skies tonight after midnight. Well, Ursids, that means coming out of the North Polar region.
Okay, there is the Earthrise picture taken by William Anders on December 24th of 1968. Okay. Obviously, television viewers saw a grainy black and white image, but that is the image, and I think that's one of the images I actually used for one of my QSL cards.
Yeah, okay.
Because I used it for my 2 Echo Zero Lima Uniform November call, and the observatory. So there you go.
Yeah, you remember it was a television show. One of the guys on it would say how sweet it is.
No,
don't remember that one. All right, no. I think who was that? I can't remember. Somebody will come up with it. New research suggests that there are sugar molecules in deep space. That's kind of interesting. We put that article into our chat room.
Actually, it doesn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm. Me neither, because if there's alcohol molecules in space, sugar molecules would kind of make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't really surprise me, because when you think about the chemistry that is going on in space all the time, what we know, there's alcohol molecules, there's gases like cyanogen. In fact, a lot of the greener comets have cyanogen as their main gas. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Now, recently, I don't have this article with me right now. It's got to be here close. Pure gas has been. Another cloud of pure gas has been found in space, pure gas being all hydrogen. So that means it's like one of the oldest gas clouds ever produced. It has no other elements in it. It's pure hydrogen. So that must mean it formed right after the Big Bang, before any stars could contaminate it. That's been recently discovered, too. I had that article, but I can't find it anymore.
Okay, now I know that we just got sent a message by Rob, and I can't see it.
Radio director. All right, let me take a look here and see. Yeah, we're getting down to our last 3 minutes or so, so we're getting kind of closer. We'll get a couple more articles in there. Let me click on it here, and maybe it was just our 5 minute. Jackie Gleason, yes, thank you, Rob. That was one of his famous sayings. How sweet it is, which I don't sound anything like him.
Seems to remember that made it into a rock song too. How sweet it is.
Astronomers have recently caught a fairly new star going through a growth spurt. And how does that happen? Well, new stars are deep inside of gas clouds and generally cannot be seen in visible light, but they can be detected radio waves and infrared light. And they noticed a flare-up of this star. So that must mean it's still surrounded by gas and stuff like that. That means some more gases and molecules got dumped onto it, or atoms, I should say, got dumped onto it during its early formation. So that's really rare to see a new star flare up inside of a gas cloud. Pretty rare event to actually see something like that.
Right, I'm trying to keep an eye on the time. I think we're coming up to.
I think we're getting there. Oh, I don't have a launch sound for us. By the way, everybody, this is our last show of 2018. So we won't have anything between Christmas and New Year's. None of the shows will be live then. So we really want to thank everybody for listening in for the entire year.
Yeah, it's been really great. And we'll be back in the new year.
we'll definitely be back in the new year. Yep, got an interview coming up on one of the shows. So we're gonna get some more people to interview during the next year. We're working on that quite a bit. So make some little different shows.
Captain Savick, 3 members of the away team to beam up, please. Energize.
And I don't have a rocket sound for us to lift off on. I forgot to go get one for tonight, so sorry about that. Thanks everybody in our chat room. Really appreciate you all being here tonight, and see you again in a couple weeks. Good night, all.
Good night.
We hope that you've enjoyed this program from AFM Radio, the broadcast service of Astronomy.fm. This program has been released under Creative Commons license. Please contact us for details. You may find more of our AFM original programs on our website. It's really easy to find us. We are Astronomy.fm. You may also find us in the iTunes radio listings near the top of the News Talk section, and also as an iTunes podcast selection. We'd love to hear your comments. Please email us at radio@astronomy.fm. Thanks so much for being part of the voice of astronomy around the world and across the known universe. This is Astronomy.fm Radio.
Hi, this is Tavi Greiner, Astronomy.fm's Vice President of Communications. If you enjoy our programming, please let us know with a donation to astronomy.fm/donate. We really do rely on your support, and it's true, every little bit counts.
AFM. There I was, doing my thing, and all of a sudden, wham! Astronomy right between the eyes.